Yes, there are many negative sides to comparing yourself to others, but I don't think the solution should be dismissing the whole idea of comparison. Rather, we should understand how to deal with it and how we can actually use it as a tool for our growth rather than to our detriment. In the last couple of days, I've been reflecting on the concept of comparison, and I've really tried to see if I could find a way to use it in a positive way rather than in a way that has a negative impact on ourselves and our mindset. And these are the steps that I came up with. Step number 1 is understand why you are comparing yourself to others. I think as human beings, we all naturally compare ourselves to others. It is just our natural tendency, and I don't think there's much that we can do about it. But I do think that we very rarely stop and think about why comparison has a negative impact on us, and specifically on our mindset and our vision of ourselves. If I look at my own thought process when I'm comparing myself to someone else, the reason why it generally has a negative impact is because we approach it with the mindset of seeing what we are lacking compared to whoever we're comparing ourselves to, or seeing how they are better or in a more advanced stage in life compared to where we think we should have been at this point. And I think sometimes it's just the old simple self-sabotaging because we don't think we're good enough. But try to stop and reflect. What hurts you about comparing yourself to others? What makes you think that you are lacking the skills or the abilities that other people have, or that make you feel behind in life? Step number 2 is understanding that you are unique. Society has built a system where we are trained to think that we are nothing special and we are easily replaceable. Now, in society's system, especially in the corporate world, that might be true, but that was never God's purpose for your life. God has hidden something special in you that is unique to you. Other people may have similar gifts, but they will never be you. If you can sing, remind yourself that nobody else has your voice. If you can write, know that no one else has your imagination. You just have to find your way. And most importantly, you have to be the first one to understand and acknowledge that you are unique and that you have something special. If you don't, no one else will believe it for you. Step number 3 is understand that no one else has your experience. Similar to what I've mentioned in the previous point, it is really important that each of us realize not only that we are unique, but also that our experiences are unique. One of the biggest sources of discouragement by comparison, at least in my experience, comes from looking at other people that are doing what you would like to do and what you think you're good at, and by persuading yourself that you should not do it because those people are already doing it and they're better at it than you. What I've realized though is that regardless of how many people are already doing what you want to do, no one has your unique experience. No one has your life experiences. No one has your stories. No one has your character or your personality. And your experience is a big part of what shapes your understanding of yourself, your vision of yourself, your understanding of reality around you, and also how you use your abilities and skills. Microsoft was founded before Apple, but that didn't stop Apple from being founded, being started as a company, and becoming a huge success over time. So the fact that there are competitors out there, or that there are people that are already doing what you want to do, shouldn't stop you from pursuing your dreams and achieving your goals. Step number 4 is understanding that God's timing for your life is unique. I think many times when we look at people around us, we might fall into that trap of thinking that they have achieved more than we have in a similar lifespan, or that they are in a more advanced stage of their life compared to where we are, and we might just generally feel behind in life compared to other people around us. On the surface, it might appear that way, but I don't actually think that it's true. God's timing for the things that He has prepared for each and every one of us in our lives is unique to us. Just because someone had a career breakthrough or got married or had a child before you, it doesn't mean that you are behind in life. And it doesn't even mean that they are ahead of you. It simply means that they are on track for what God has prepared in their life, and you are on track for what God has prepared for yours. Sometimes it might be true, we might be delaying the process in our life for ourselves, just like the Israelites did when they wandered around the desert for 40 years instead of 40 days. But I think if it happens, it is because we needed that detour to grow out of old mindsets, heal from past wounds. And that detour is often what we need to step into the next chapter fully equipped and prepared for the blessing that is coming ahead. And you know what, in general, I think there's always going to be seasons of winters and seasons of summer. There's always going to be seasons where everything is going well and seasons where things are very difficult. And that's why it's equally as important not to compare your stage in life to someone else's, because you might be comparing your winter to their summer. And that is not a good meter of comparison. So learn to trust that God's timing is perfect for you and is unique to you. It is tailor-made for you and for the life that God has prepared for you. Step number 5 is don't compare your page 1 to someone else's page 50. This is very much in line with the point that we've just discussed. If you look at it from an analysis or a statistical point of view, now I'm no expert, but generally when you are comparing two metrics, they should have relatively similar characteristics. For instance, if you were interested in finding out whether you are improving on the number of books that you're reading per month, you would be comparing the number of books you read this month to the number of books that you read last month. But if you were to compare the number of books you read this month to the number of books that a stranger read 5 years ago in a month, then that kind of comparison is not going to give you a lot of useful insight. So I think similar principles apply here as well. If you're just starting out on something, on a career path, or in an industry or a field, or a hobby, you can't really compare yourself to someone who has been in that industry or field for 5 years or more, or even less. That would only make you feel like you're not good enough. But you have to remind yourself, when they started 5 years or more ago, they weren't where they are now. They didn't have the skills, the abilities, or the knowledge that they have now. So it is really important to keep in mind that you cannot compare your page 1 when you're just starting out to someone else's page 50 or even page 10 for that matter. And step number 6 is learn to use comparison to your advantage. This might be a very unpopular opinion, but I actually think that there can be positive sides to a healthy comparison. That is, a comparison that is not aimed at making you feel like you're lacking something or that you're not good enough, but rather aimed at identifying what you can improve on and get better at. If we look at others just to see what is wrong with us, then it's not going to work. But if we are able to look at others and take them as a source of inspiration and encouragement, that might actually help us move forward in reaching our goals. If we remain in line with the example that I brought in the previous point, when you look at someone who has been in your industry or field or chosen career path for some time now, maybe 5 years or 10 years, instead of comparing yourself to them and thinking of how much farther from you they are and how much better skills or more experience and knowledge than you they have, focus on what you like and admire about them. Focus on the sides of their character or personalities that you like. Focus on the skills that they have that you really admire. Focus on their abilities or their knowledge and expertise, and use it as an inspiration and a motivation to keep working on yourself, keep working on your dreams, and advancing in your own path. As for most things around us, they always have a positive or a negative effect depending on how we're using it. And I think the same works with comparison. It is true, a lot of comparison is often hurtful and negative, but that doesn't mean that there aren't any positive sides to comparison. And I think that if we learn to use it in the right way, it can actually become a good source of inspiration and encouragement. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you liked it, make sure to click the like button. And if you're interested to see more of this content, make sure to subscribe and click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!